Why can't?
It's all about the theatre.
Okay.
Hey. This will be your
I hope
first
you're
and
recording
last.
all of this. Weren't you like forced to study drama for your social interaction?
Yeah, my nana thought I was shy, so she put me in drama. Look how that's worked out.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Beer with the Brewer and his wife today.
Yes.
Emma, how are we?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Maddie?
I'm always well, mate.
Always well.
Good to be here with
Always
you
well.
and the family.
And the star of the show, Grace. How are you going? I'm great, thanks. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Good. She's very developed, speaking fluently now. Hey. So today we are going to crack this little bad boy open that has been slightly cellaring for a little bit. Maybe same age as her, somewhere around there.
roughly
About
around
10
there. I
months.
think it is. So
Similar incubation time.
yeah. So Belgian strong ale for the love of Grace. Let's crack it open and see how this one goes. Oh, thank you, Leatherman.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Really good, very good, very good. As you can see, all class,
Wax sealed.
wax sealed.
Good fun, that wax sealing.
Oh, absolute dream. Opened with the Grace bottle opener.
Being
Maybe.
Father's Day recently.
Maybe.
Have we got it? Come on, you can do it. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Does it open that way?
We heard a little psh. That's a good sign.
Just, I don't want to break it on film, so it's all good.
No pressure.
No pressure. So I'll have a little tipple of this one because
Yes.
it's quite high in the ABV scale. That's sitting at 16.1%, and it's always that 0.1 that's always gotcha.
Cool.
So Maddie, tell us a little bit about this bad boy,
Whoa.
or girl, you could say.
Cheers.
Oh, that's bloody fantastic. Cheers, Emma. Cheers, Gracie. Thank you for putting the inspiration into this beer.
So the idea or inspiration behind this one, obviously we knew we were having the baby, so we thought we'd throw together a beer to release when she was born,
Yep.
and then to have each year on her birthday up until she was 18, which may be a little ambitious, but that was the sort of plan at the start. So for a beer to last that long, firstly, it needs to be reasonably strong. So in brewing this, we were sort of aiming for maybe a 12.5% Belgian strong ale.
But, you know, brewing as it goes, it never usually
it's-
goes to plan, does it?
No, this one certainly didn't. So the brew day was fine. Emma came in heavily pregnant, milled a few kilograms of malt.
Grace was just lying around.
Yeah, Grace was lying around inside, ready to come out.
It was the October, I think it was, and I was due November.
Yeah, so
it
pretty
was very,
close. So
very heavily pregnant.
I think we allowed 4 or 5 weeks from the brew day up until when Grace was born for the beer to be ready. So did the brew. The brew went really well.
Yeah.
Pitched the yeast, the Belgian strong yeast. It fermented out. I thought it had fermented out really quickly. So we're like, oh, cool, that's done. Checked it. I went, oh, it's still a little bit sweet. So it started quite high. I think it was around 25, 26 Plato, which is pretty high in beer terms. Enough to make the 12.5% alcohol anyway. And it looked like the fermentation had actually stalled. So we tried a few things to sort of get the yeast going again, stirring up the tank, a couple of other things to get it happening, to finish the fermentation.
Yeah.
And it stopped at about 12 Plato, which is about midway through the ferment, so it's still really sweet. That's probably enough to make another 6% booze.
Righto.
So I'm like, well, what's it going to do? What's it going to do? Tried this for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and just nothing was happening. I thought, all right, I'm going to have to put more yeast in there. I think I bought some yeast over from this brewery and put it into the beer.
I think there's 5 different types of yeast in this one, isn't
Yeah,
there?
and then ended up doing that a couple of different times. And every time I did something like that, it just looked like it was bubbling again.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot happening. Would measure it and it hadn't really moved. And then in the fridge over at Oxford Street, we actually had some low carb enzyme. So what that does is turn the unfermentable sugars into fermentable sugars.
Yep.
Basically. Sort of left that, and by this stage, we'd had Grace, and the beer's still sitting in the tank, so we didn't quite make the due by date, and she was actually a couple of weeks late as well. Gave me a couple more weeks to get it ready. And then leading up to Christmas, all of a sudden we're sitting there having a beer at Oxford Street. I'm like, that's bubbling again.
Woohoo!
I'm like, wow, it's actually something happening. And then sort of semi-forgot about it over Christmas. Come back in 2 weeks and taste it. I'm like, oh, wow. Now it's got a bit going
Finally.
on. And I think it had fermented down to maybe 4 or 5 Play-Doh by this stage.
Yep.
So I was nearing the completion of the fermentation. I thought, oh, that's pretty good. If it finishes here, it's over 10%.
Yeah.
We sort of might achieve what we're going for. And then come in about a week later and test it again. I'm like, ooh, now it's really dry and it tastes quite boozy. So we come here and we put it through our alkalizer, and it, I think, came out at 18%.
Nearly broke the
Yeah,
alcoholizer, didn't it?
right. I'm like, no, it can't be that high. So I sent it off to get it tested
Yeah.
off-site, and 16.1 was the final ABV. So it did overachieve a little bit from the 12 we're aiming for.
Just like you, mate.
Always trying
overachieving.
to overachieve.
Eh? That's our highest percent.
Yeah, definitely.
Alcoholic
So
beer?
that's like as strong as or stronger than most Shiraz. Almost getting into fortified territory. So the end result, initially, it was pretty full on because it was so big and strong.
Yeah, it was.
But now we bottled this a few months ago now. So it's had some time to condition in the bottle.
Yep.
You can see the carbonation is bottle conditioning.
Yep.
Sort of just coming up.
Light.
The thing as well, because it's so alcoholic, that's actually foam negative. So it won't really hold foam. Alcohol is like a solvent.
Yep.
But that's got a little bit of foam, it's got a little bit of fizz.
Certainly solvent.
It's really rich aroma.
It is. I think it's. I think the sweetness from when we first pulled it out to now, it's still on the aroma, but when you drink it, that sharp sweetness has
it almost
really disappeared, and you're
finishes
getting
dry.
a really nice, I don't know, like apricot-y type of mouthfeel and aroma coming from that as well. So
I think it'd be nice.
It's really
with
matured.
cheese and like a nice sort of board, whole platter.
Charcuterie.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking
Charcuterie.
for. Oh, even dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christmas pudding or something.
But yeah, no, definitely that has really balanced out. I think really balanced out.
So I think now the idea was always to hold it a little while.
Yeah.
We've done a beer this big and then release it. So it's probably looking like it's ready to release and make its way out into the wide world.
Yes.
We did a handful of cans. I think we did 50 cases of cans.
Yep.
When it was fresh.
Yep.
They actually sold a lot quicker than we thought.
Yes. We'll
we
still
sat
have
around
these
and
a
like,
little bit,
no,
and then boom, all of
We
a sudden
definitely
they're
don't need that
gone.
many cases and they're all gone. I think people were a bit excited by
Yeah.
the beer and how big it was.
Getting like 48 standard drinks in a carton.
So I've seen it pop up on a couple of the beer websites
Yeah.
over the past couple of months. So it's good to see it out there and people enjoying it. Yeah. We've also put in 200 odd litres into an ex-whiskey barrel that we have aging here at the brewery.
Yep.
And then just smelling the barrel, it smells amazing. So I'm very interested to see how that comes out.
Yeah, we've got a
time.
couple of barrels now that we're doing a few bits and pieces with. We've
Yeah.
still got the Shiraz barrels, we've got some whiskey barrels. So I think some of them are probably coming up to look to
well,
kind
I
of
think
put into a
we
bottle.
did that
I think maybe.
3 months ago. Put the beer into the barrel, the Grace beer, and then also some Imperial Stout. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out.
Yes, I can't wait for that.
So we've done the
Imperial.
one in the past in the Shiraz barrel, the Imperial Stout, this one in a whiskey barrel. So should be really
Oh, I
nice.
can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
I've bagged 200 litres of it.
I reckon you had about 200 litres of the last
Yeah, I
one.
reckon I did. I reckon I did.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty interesting one. She's what is she now? Nearly 10 months.
Yeah.
So on her first birthday, we'll sit around, probably on the safety of our own couch,
Yes.
crack a bottle open and enjoy it.
She'll be spectating.
Yeah.
Be long in bed.
We might be yabbering like that after we
Yeah. After a couple, definitely. So Em, did you? What do you think of the beer?
I think it's good. I
Yeah?
think it's turned out really well. I mean, when we kind of tasted it through the process, the fermentation process, you know, it was as Matt said, it was quite sweet at the beginning. But yeah, it's really mellowed out. I mean, it's not often that you kind of breastfeeding and everything that I actually get to enjoy any of it, but the little sips every now and then, it's really changed and developed over the 10 months that it's been aging, and
Yep.
it very much reminds me of the Holgate Double Trouble, which is like a quad. No,
The Beelzebubs.
the Beelzebubs, that's the one I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. Which is a Belgian ale. It's a quad Belgian ale that we really love from back home in Victoria.
Yeah, fantastic.
So I've tasted this a couple of times on tap at Oxford Street, and in the bottle it tastes a bit different. I think it's actually to me it's a lot richer, and
Yeah, I think so.
probably with our bottling process may not be the best for oxygen pickup. So I think it's probably picked up a little bit of oxygen in the process, but then it's re-fermented and eaten that oxygen. It's actually sort of changed the flavour of the beer.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost, I think, in a positive way. It's almost like candied orange or verging on marmalade.
Yeah, 100%.
You said
100%.
apricot, so
Apricot.
that's sort of jammy.
A lot of stone fruit coming through.
Which can be from oxidation, but yeah, it sort of suits a beer this big.
Yeah. And I am actually pleasantly surprised with the flavour and everything that's coming from this, because I do remember being quite put off by the booziness, and it was just so intense when it was fresh.
Yeah, it was.
It was just so intense.
It really needed
just-
time to mature.
Yeah. But now, thinking back and tasting it then when it was nice and young, and to now see how this bottling, bottle conditioning has transformed this into such, it's a way more mature beer that's come from it. So,
Well, you think of wine, like they're really obviously high ABV and really flavoursome and aggressive flavours, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason they age them. So like a Shiraz might be in a barrel for 3 or 4 years before it's released.
Yep.
Or even longer. So all those flavours can sort of mellow out and come together. So obviously we've never done a beer this big. The biggest probably been a 10.5% Imperial Stout prior to this.
Yep.
So yeah, you sort of, the way you handle it is a lot different than the way it matures. So it's interesting project.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
And
And I think it's come out really well.
Pretty exciting to see what happens with the barrel. 200 odd litres of the barrel.
Yeah, different
that in the
flavours
bottle.
that'll pick up as well.
Absolutely. Scarily, it might actually make it more alcoholic too, being in a whiskey barrel.
Oh, well, that'll be a fun day on the Chrisomatic 2000. We might knock a few zeros off
Ride the
that.
bike to work that day.
It's always fun. Always
Yes.
fun. All right. Well, guys, look around for this bad boy. It's going to be pretty limited release, purely because of one being hand bottled and waxed and aged and everything like that. So we'll definitely have it at the tap rooms as well, and probably some more specific crafty venues also. But we'll throw up where you can grab that from. But well done. I'm pleasantly surprised in how this has turned out. And if you did get some of the cans and you did drink some of them quite young, definitely get your hands on this and see the difference in aroma and flavour profile as well. I'm pretty sure you'll be definitely surprised as I am. So anyway, we'll continue to sip
Yes.
on this for a little longer. Maybe not Emma too much. But well done, Maddie. Cheers for that.
Cheers.
Thanks, Emma.
Pleasure.
Thanks for being the other half,
That's it.
the more important. And
Cheers.
Gracie,
Cheers,
thanks
Grace.
to you. Thanks for the inspiration. Yeah, good stuff. All right, guys, we won't end on that, and we'll sip this away into the afternoon. Have a look for the socials where this is at, and enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.